Hey guys, it's Prometheum5 here with another CollectionDX review. Today we're going to be talking about Hot Toys' newest Iron Man release, the Mark VII armor from Marvel's The Avengers. This toy has been a long time coming, and I'm excited for it to finally be here. I'm going to have a whole text and photo review up on the site, obviously, so I don't want to go crazy with the video review. What I did want to do is kind of just go over the contents of the box, because I've seen in a lot of other reviews that they don't do a good job of laying out exactly what the different options that come for display of this figure are, because there are a number of them. So I'm going to kind of just do a quick look over of the figure and then walk through all the different parts, and then I'll put a link to the full review on the site, and you can check out many glorious Iron Man photos of the new Mark VII in comparison with all sorts of other cool stuff. So obviously this is a 1/6 scale figure, so it's 12 inches tall, which means it doesn't quite fit on the screen. So I'm just going to say, look, it has legs. All the action kind of happens in the top half, so that's where I'm going to focus. The paint and everything is, Hot Toys normal perfection. I really have nothing bad to say about this, but I know people have kind of griped lately about the glut of Iron Man content, so I'm not going to go crazy with this, but basically if you've seen other Hot Toys Iron Man figures, you know what you're getting into. This is just another one of those, but for the Mark VII, which is a pretty cool suit that has a lot of different things going on in the movie, so it's cool that they managed to replicate a lot of those. Articulation obviously is perfect. It has well, not perfect, I shouldn't say that, but it has all the light up features and stuff. In a couple of places I think this actually might be a little bit less posable than the Mark IV or the Mark VI mold. The Mark VII has a lot of armor for survivability and stuff, and can be a little bulkier in certain places, like the chest and the shoulders and stuff. But there's some cool tricks that Hot Toys included to get around some of that. But standard deal. Has the expanding waist, and it has a good neck joint, and it is a little tough to get to stand because of the ankles, but kind of works as intended. One of the coolest things that Hot Toys included for this, which I'm way more excited about than I probably should be, is aside from the posable hands, which feel pretty good. I think they're one of the best sets I've gotten. I didn't have any stuck fingers or anything, and I didn't have any kind of loose. I haven't had any loose joints on them, but I have had a couple where some of the fingers were a little stuck to begin with. But so the only other hands included are a pair of fixed pose fists, which I'll get to later because they're on another set of arms right now. And then these guys, which are a set of repulsor posed hands, and a second set of wrist guards, which are bent back. So the Mark VII can finally do a proper repulsor pose, which none of the Hot Toys figures have really been able to do before. That's been kind of my one main complaint, is they have the posable hands and everything, which look good, but they've never really been able to do a proper palm out repulsor blast. And Hot Toys has fixed this with a new set of hands and wrist guards specifically designed for that, and they look terrific. It's a dumb little thing, but this is probably my favorite part of the whole toy, just because we can finally do proper repulsor hands, and you can compare that to the fixed post hands, which could basically just do like a palm out kind of thing, which doesn't really work all that well. But so 2 sets of those are included, so you can do all sorts of cool stuff with that. Well, that gets us kind of to our next thing. The arms do come off on this. That's sort of a new standard feature with Hot Toys Iron Man figures, is that the arms can come off to swap for another set. So I guess we'll kind of get to the different options. He's got all the back flaps and stuff, and there are some options with that. Like I said, standard fare, but there's some cool stuff going on here. So instead, on previous Iron Man figures from Hot Toys, they've had some swappable panels for battle damage and stuff. The most was on the Mark VI, and the panels actually ended up being kind of loose and fiddly from time to time. Some of them were magnetic instead of pegged on, which is a neat gimmick, but means that they don't really lock in place, so that was always kind of annoying. So instead, the Mark VII is actually split into 2 releases. There's a regular release with a bunch of swappable weapon parts, and then just a totally battle damaged up second release that was an exclusive. So good luck finding that, but if you wanted to continue your fully battle damaged displays, you're going to have to go that route. Exclusive Hot Toys releases are a circle I still haven't managed to hang in. But so this is the regular figure. Included are a second pair of arms with the wrist lasers deployed. I just have the regular fixed pose fists on there for that because you can't really do, there's no light in the second arm, so you can't do a repulsor pose or anything. With tape residue on this one from the packaging. That's kind of gross. But yeah, so we'll show off the different features. The regular arms obviously feature the lights for the palms, whereas the other arms don't. But the arms are nice and secure, but not maybe quite as tight as they could be. They do come off without feeling like you're going to break anything. You'll notice here that on the spare arm, it's missing a shoulder plate. That's because there is a set of battle damaged shoulder panels included that you can swap between both. So you can actually do clean or battle damaged shoulder pads on both sets of arms, because the shoulder pad will come off of the repulsor firing arm. There's like a clip on the end there, so that holds on reasonably secure. So that just goes on. And those are nice and secure, which they were not quite as well attached on the Mark VI. Yeah, so this is the laser weapon firing hand, or arm I should say. Looks pretty cool. That's a feature that was on the Mark VI as just a sort of perfect transformation type feature that was a little squirrely that I could never quite get to work. So it's cool that they just included that as separate parts, but it's kind of crazy that they include a whole second arm for both arms for that one feature. But whatever, that's Hot Toys deal. On the regular light up arms, the missile launchers are swappable parts as well. They're not pop-up, just a panel here that comes off. And then the missile launcher parts, which have some pretty nice detail. They look good. And that's for the wrist-mounted micro missile. Oops. On the arm, once in a while, I have managed to pull it off. So that's kind of annoying, but not a huge deal. So there you go with all sorts of different weapons. And everything, you know, accurate to the movie. Looks cool. I like it. So that's the arms. There's two of those. I'll just leave that one on for now. It's fine. And I'll leave that there for the regular arm. The next piece is for the leg armor. The silver panels on the legs are actually micro missile launchers, seen in the movie, used to great effect, and they are swappable parts. They just come off. They have a couple pegs and a tab there that hold them pretty securely in place. So that's that. A swappable set with deployed missiles is included, and these look really sharp. They have a little bit of battle damage and airbrushing on them, and then a row of the micro missiles. And they are cool looking. So they just peg on there, and they stay on pretty securely. Once in a while you might grab the leg and take one off, but not too often. And then we get to for the missiles, we also have the shoulder panels. Oops. Ooh, the air brakes come off. I'll get that one later. There's a set of missile launchers in the shoulder binders here. So to replicate that, Hot Toys has included a swappable pair of air brakes, and they both open and do all the stuff they're supposed to do. The silver panel opens, and the red panel flaps up. And the micro missile launcher details on there is pretty sweet too. Everything's really sharply painted. It looks good. So those guys go on here. They're a little tough to get on just because you have to put them on with one tab has to go in before the other. I just don't want to push too hard on here. Nothing feels fragile. It just takes a little getting used to figure out how everything works. But that's kind of the standard with these Hot Toys Iron Man. They're pretty complex figures, so there's a lot to learn about how they're made, which is part of the fun. But yeah, so there's the deployed micro missile launcher banks on the shoulders, and they look really cool. With all of his missiles set up, Iron Man is ready to kick some Skrull ass, which is great. And then there are a set of swappable battle damage panels, like I said, for the shoulder armor, which I'll throw on. And you can see I'm not, like, really babying the figure. It is well made. It can take a little handling. The battle damage looks nice and clean as usual, but you do kind of end up, with all the releases with the swappable battle damage parts, you kind of end up with a mismatch. I'll want to save that panel for later. That does come off. We'll get there. You sort of end up with these weird borders between the battle damage stuff and the non-battle damage panels, but they do a pretty good job of avoiding a really segregated look on that. So the chest panel opens up or comes off, and there's the usual cool unnecessary details in there. And then a battle damage chest plate goes on, and on the mask is just magnetic and swaps. You can see the scary light detail under there. I like having the light for the magnetic mask under the faceplate as opposed to on the back of the neck, just because it's not out for everyone to see. So all the switches besides the ones on the inside of the bicep are hidden in the regular mode, as opposed to exposed like they've been on the back of the neck before. So this is Iron Man with all of his battle damaged panels. It's not a ton. The battle damage on the mask is really subtle. Obviously it's not so subtle on the chest plate and stuff, but it's, it's kind of early in the battle. He's taking like one or two good hits, but not anything that's really going to slow him down. But yeah, there's a whole separate battle damage release that looks really cool, and you'll never get, so don't worry about it. And then there's one more way we can display Iron Man. And I'm actually going to throw the clean plates on for this, just because I usually display mine clean. The battle damage stuff's cool, but it sort of captures a specific moment in the films. I kind of like to have my figures just sort of all the time Iron Man, as opposed to from one scene or anything. I'm going to just take the weapons off too. There's nothing on this one that's loose or annoying or squirrely in any way, which is good, because on the some of the previous ones, there's been one or two kind of loose, annoying bits per each. On the Mark IV, the swappable chest plate is really easy to knock off. On the Mark VI, some of the battle damage plates, like on the biceps, are annoying. And on the Mark V, there was that little chest plate that was a problem. But this one's pretty much perfect. I'm really, really happy with this. And I think the Mark VII is a good sort of everyday Iron Man design for people who wanted just one. The only problem with that is how tough they've become to get in the year plus since they were up for pre-order and are now finally shipping. So the last look for this guy, we take off the missile launchers on the legs and the shoulders. And this is the sort of end of the film after he's spent all of his extra weapon pods look. So these guys come off, and there's a set of gold thigh plates for what's underneath the missile pods, and they look really sharp. And then there's a set of red panels that go on the shoulders, and these actually cover up the holes where the air brake mounts for the missile launchers go. Getting these on a little awkward, just because you gotta kind of stick your hand all up in his guts there to do that. But so that covers up those guys, and then these panels on the chest come off. I don't remember from the film if there was a reason for that, or if they were just sort of some panels that came off to lose some weight for the end of the film. So this is all red and gold all the time. Iron Man, you can see he's down to what would be the regular set of air brakes. They do have the air brakes, I should have mentioned, they do have the metal foil detail that's become standard, but they don't have a second set that pops out. There's no foil piece sticking off of here, but that is, I think, accurate to the film, so I guess that's just the design of the air brakes. I actually really like him like this, without all the extra weapons. just as a, like I said, you know, an everyday Mark VII, when he's out and about. He was sort of extra loaded for war in Avengers, just because of what they were facing. So it's cool to have a more Iron Man looking, less sort of War Machine-esque setup. But yeah, this figure kicks ass. It's stupid hard to get at this point just because it took so long to produce, and everybody that wanted one ended up pre-ordering it at some point and hocking them all up. So it was like $220, I think, when it was first up for pre-order. Now it's tough to find it for less than $350, which is a stupid price to pay for it, even as cool as it is. So I like it. I mean, I'd recommend it, but it's, like I said, it's a pain in the ass to get. But this has been Prometheum 5 for CollectionDX with a quick look at the different features and options for the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Iron Man Mark VII from Marvel's The Avengers. Check the description below for a link to my full text and photo review on CollectionDX.com, where there will be a thorough and extensive look at how this figure stacks up to previous Hot Toys Iron Man releases. And spoiler alert, it does really well. So like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Leave a comment. Let me know if you wanted to see a more thorough video description, explanation of this figure, or if this was a good way to do this. It still ended up being 20 minutes, and I didn't even, go through all the joints and all that stuff. So that's that. I'm Prometheum 5. Go visit CollectionDX.com, and thanks for watching.